Thank you for joining us today on the International Leadership Podcast. My name is Joe Beauchamp, your host. I'm also the founder of Beauchamp Team Growth Solutions. We provide leadership development strategy, training, coaching, mentoring, consulting on topics such as leadership, communication, personal growth, emotional intelligence, building a culture that is successful. Get all your team developed and growing in the right direction, rowing in the right direction, carrying the burden of your team so that your company can scale the way you want it to. Give us a call or shoot me an email and have your free introductory consultation. Thank you. I want to introduce you to Live to Lead Long Island. Live to Lead Long Island is a full-day leadership conference. It's hosted by myself, and we have some other great speakers there. John Maxwell will be attending virtually through pre-recorded video, but there'll also be some live speakers there. And it's a day full of inspiration, leadership strategies, life strategies. You will develop yourself as a leader, as an overcomer. My goal is to cram pack as much value into that day as possible. I want more for you than I want from you. You will walk away with tools and tips and strategies that you could use right away to start implementing in your life to get better results with your team, with your family, with your personal self. It's made for everybody, whether you're the multi-billion-dollar leader of a multi-billion-dollar company, or whether you're a startup entrepreneur, solopreneur, there is value there for you. So great networking. It's on Hop Long Island. It's coming up January 22nd. It's a Friday. It's a full day, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. event. Cram-packed. You're going to get a delicious breakfast, lunch, plenty of opportunities to network. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's music, there's dancing, there's tools and tips and strategies, everything leadership based. You're gonna have a great time. Check out the website, lead, L-E-A-D, L-I for longisland.com, live2leadli.com. The QR code is down below. Check it out, register today. If you're interested in being a sponsor, click on the link down there and request sponsorship packages. We're happy to have you as a sponsor. We're selling tables at a discounted price. So sign up today. It's not too soon. January 22nd, it's a Friday, full day event. Live to Lead Long Island. Talk to you soon. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Thanks. Welcome to episode 20 of the International Leadership Podcast. My name is Joe Beauchamp. I'm your host today. And this is the International Leadership Podcast. We're on the American Business Podcast channel, listened to around the country and around the world. We are going to unpack some leadership strategies that you can apply to your leadership. Everyone who has interaction with any other person is a leader. You have an influence on the world around you. You make a difference. And so that's the goal today, is to help people to understand how to unpackage good leadership strategies and mindsets into their own lives, that you can be more effective in your business, in your community, in your home, wherever you're interacting with other people, you can be a more effective leader. That's our role here. So we have a format that we refer to as Leadership Unleashed. Leadership Unleashed is a 3-part formula for leadership success. That's what we're going to be discussing today. Last time, actually 2 episodes ago, we unpackaged some of being an inspirational leader. That's part 1. Leaders always have to remain inspirational, because teams need to get energized in order to move in the right direction. Like nobody moves if they're not motivated. So being an inspirational leader is somebody who can put that energy into your team to want to move in the right direction. So step 1 is always inspiration. You might think that you're not a real inspirational person, but these are developable skills you can learn, and you can help yourself grow as a leader and develop yourself as a leader. Step 2 is activation. Activation is when you take a team that's been energized with your inspiration and you actually give them the strategy for success. So we're going to talk more about that as we get into today. And then step 3 is transformation. When you have a team that's been inspired and they've been activated, your next phase is to give them goals and set strategies and hold people accountable for actually getting results. So that accountability is not a slap on the wrist. It's accountability coaching. We're going to talk a little bit more about that today as well. So we're welcoming my co-host here today, which is Kevin from the American Business Podcast. Kevin, thank you for joining today and for being willing to be my co-host. And
Of course.
appreciate you being here. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself, the American Business Podcast, and the America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry, which is a great new chamber of commerce that's going
Yes.
nationwide already. Give us an update. Give us an update on the American Business Podcast. Where are we at right now?
Yes, absolutely. Well, first of all, thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it, and congratulations with the 20th episode. That's a big deal, and that's definitely a milestone. I congratulate you, your team, and your effort. Most of the podcasts they cannot even complete 10 episodes. You doubled that, and this is season 1, and I definitely congratulate you, and I definitely appreciate your determination and your generosity to share your insights about leadership and inspiring other businesses and other leaders. That means a lot, and I like to thank you for your effort and for your leadership in that. So that's great.
Yeah, we're trying to make the world a better place, one leader at a time. And with the American Business Podcast, being on that channel, being able to reach thousands of people, we're over 200,000 subscribers on the American Business Podcast channel. We're getting it looks like we're getting about 2,000 to 4,000 viewers per episode on the International Leadership Podcast. So it's going well. We're getting the word out there, and I hope that it's making a difference in people's lives as they apply these principles. Tell us a little bit more about the America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I am a founding member of that, and we have our leadership and management growth committee meeting coming up. By the time this airs, it'll probably be like the next day. It's coming up on Tuesday, the 14th. Christine Daniels and I are spearheading that subcommittee. So tell us more about the America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry and how people can sign up for that.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you very much. Well, America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry, also known as AVCCI, got a great start. So we are almost 2 months old as an organization, and it's growing very fast. Every week we are getting new members from the business community. So fundamentally, America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce, its mission is to promote, support, uplift, and connect American businesses, nonprofits, manufacturers, and the business community in this age of AI. And we do this by creating value for American businesses in different formats. We used to do it only with the American Business Podcast. Now with AVCCI, America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry, we have committees, just like the one that you are leading. You mentioned Leadership and Management Growth Committee, Women in Business Committee that's meeting on Friday. Next week we have another meeting, AVCCI Business Book Club meeting, which is getting very popular nowadays.
Looking forward to that. Actually, I committed to get that book finished by then. I don't know if I have to look back and see if I finished that book or not. I finished a few books in this time.
Yes. So we create value, and we create these educational and connective environments at AVCCI. And because the AVCCI structure is virtual, we remove all the boundaries. So any serious business person, professional business owner, welcome to join AVCCI and can connect AVCCI activities virtually from anywhere, fundamentally. So that makes things much easier for everyone. Plus, our group is growing, so there is also the connection. Start building business relationships. That's also another opportunity. And because AVCCI is inclusive, we are welcoming from solo entrepreneur to Fortune 500 companies. There is something for everyone at AVCCI. That's a great advantage. So the growth continues, and I definitely love to invite all serious businesses who love to be part of AVCCI community, and they can visit avcci.us. They can see our events page on this website, as well as our committees, and also our business book club and public speakers club are also available with the information. So we welcome any serious business, professional business owner, and executive to be part of AVCCI.
Yeah, good stuff. Once you mentioned it, I jumped right in. One of the founding members, glad to be part of it.
Thank you for your support.
To looking forward to it breaking 1,000 members probably very soon. And
Yes,
yeah, it's been
yes,
pretty
that is
exponential. Growth has been really kind
absolutely.
of
So, what makes
movement.
ABCCI different is the connection, the integration to the American Business Podcast (ABP),
Yeah,
and now the
and that's
ABP American.
and the meetings are being the meetings are being recorded, and they're being
Yes,
put onto the YouTube channel so that
that is correct. So
people,
one of the challenges that we typically face as professionals is when we go the networking, whether that's online or in person, that conversation starts within the four walls, and then you need to follow up, and you can still build relationships. There is no doubt about it. It's just that the conversation stays there. Just
right,
just like you mentioned, we record every single AVCCI meeting, and then the recording push to the American Business Podcast for others who were not able to join the meeting.
right,
They can watch, they can listen, they can learn, they can still communicate with other with AVCCI members who were at that meeting. So
right.
there is always that continuous visibility, publicity, and connection environment that we are creating with the help of the American Business Podcast, and that is a really unique offering
Yeah,
as a chamber of
I've never seen
commerce.
that.
There is no other chamber of commerce in the U.S. that is supported by a serious business podcast like the
Right.
American Business Podcast. So this is really exciting, and I truly appreciate your support and your leadership. And I'm really looking forward to tuning in your committee with Kristen Daniels. It's going to be great at the leadership
Yeah,
and management growth committee. I'm very excited for it.
we've got some great stuff lined up. We're talking this coming week about self leadership, right? So we understand that as you develop your leadership, as you raise your leadership level, the rest of your team rises up with it, right? But if you don't elevate your own leadership level, the rest of the team, when they bump up against your, basically what I'm going to refer to as a bottleneck in leadership, they either limit themselves or they leave. And we've seen leaders. I was in a meeting one time, and this person, his mother started the company, and so he has a position of leadership because he's the son of the founder. He didn't earn his way up to that leadership level, and he was very ineffective as a leader. He couldn't get stuff done. He's trying to roll out a new software system that was going to really improve their business, and nobody wanted to adopt it. Nobody wanted to roll it out. He tried hiring leaders who would be able to manage his teams, and those leaders left right away. He couldn't retain good help, and the reason is because he never developed his leadership level, and he was a very low level leader. And people that are higher level leaders don't stay working for people that are lower level leaders. So that's why we do what we do, is to help leaders to elevate their leadership mindset and their behaviors, their practices. How do they communicate? How do they show up? And that's the goal of the International Leadership Podcast. That's the goal of the Leadership and Management Growth Committee, and that's what we're going to be discussing. We're going to be opening up that topic this coming week and challenging everybody who goes there, everybody who attends this meeting, challenging them to develop their own leadership strategies, mindsets, and do their own leadership growth, take it under control. So that's a we think we have Live to Lead on there. Live to Lead is a conference that I'm hosting coming up January 22nd of 2027. It's an annual event, Live to Lead Long Island. Want to invite everybody out there. Scan the QR code that's on the screen right now, and it's a full day leadership conference. It will not be virtual. It's not going to be on the podcast channel. You have to show up in person and rub elbows with real people. It's a great event. It's a lot of fun. I guarantee that every single person, I don't care if you're the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar business or you're a 20-something-year-old recent high school or college graduate and you're just starting off, but you aspire to be a good leader, anybody will get good, valuable content that you probably never heard of before at this conference at Live to Lead. I guarantee that there's something for everybody. We work very hard for months to make sure that we include stuff for everybody. Everybody's going to walk away with new ways of thinking, new ways of believing, new ways of speaking, new ways of leading, new ways of being effective in your family, in your life, in your business, in your community, your nonprofit, your school, whatever it is. That's Live to Lead. Everyone should go. I think that's my personal opinion. We're creating something for everybody. So everybody
Yes,
should be there.
I'll be there as well and be part of it. I'm also excited. And just like you
Okay.
mentioned, so right now we are in July. It's gonna be January in no time. Time flies,
In a
really.
flash, yeah, we won't know how fast it's going to be here, but it'll in a blink of an eye. We'll be talking about, hey, Live to Lead 2027 was great. You should have been there. Come up to Live to Lead 2028. So
That is true. That's really exciting. Well, this week and next week, I must say, last month and this month, I must say, the World Cup is happening. And
yeah,
I've been watching some teams. I've been watching their coaches, how they behave, how they direct their teams. So I was just looking at it, and I was just thinking about what would Joe think when he see if he will see the interactions coming from the coaches towards the teams and
yeah.
players. I mean, it's fascinating to watch.
Thank you for joining us today on the International Leadership Podcast. My name is Joe Beauchamp, your host. I'm also the founder of Beauchamp Team Growth Solutions. We provide leadership development strategy, training, coaching, mentoring, consulting on topics such as leadership, communication, personal growth, emotional intelligence, building a culture that is successful. Get all your team developed and growing in the right direction, rowing in the right direction, carrying the burden of your team so that your company can scale the way you want it to. Give us a call or shoot me an email and have your free introductory consultation. Thank you.
And
Yeah.
players. I mean, it's fascinating to watch.
So John Wooden coached basketball, but John Wooden said, it's easier to be a good coach when you have good players, right? So being a good leader is easier when you have a good team. But in the World Cup, we're not really comparing the quality of the members of the team on team number one with the quality of members of the team on team number two. They're all excellent quality. We're talking about the top, small percentage, maybe less than 1% of the soccer players in the world, right? So everyone's got great skill. What we're really talking about is the leadership, right? Which team has had a better leader who's led more effectively over the course of the past several years, where these players have played together, trained together, learned, grown, strategies for interacting with other teams. Like who are the better leaders? It's really like a giant chess game between the two coaches of the two teams. It's going to be that better leader, and it's not just what's going on the field that day. It's the years past. It's those years of leadership that was practice after practice. Did somebody do the right thing? Did they think the right way? So leaders have a threefold responsibility, and it doesn't make a difference whether it's a sports team or a business or a nonprofit or your family. You've got a threefold responsibility. Number one is inspiration. So on a soccer team, they're inspired. They want to win. They want to win the World Cup. If we say, hey, listen, we're going to the World Cup, we're going to play, we're going to win, right? So people are going to be inspired to do that. They know what the goal is. They know how they know the vision. They can see the vision. So it's kind of a little bit easier sometimes in sports to cast a vision. Hey, we're going to win this World Cup. It's an easy vision to see. In business, it might not be so easy. It might be like, hey, we're going to make this money. And everyone's like, well, we don't make that money. Like, why should we help you make money? So creating that vision for a company is a critical responsibility of the leadership team. Where are we going as a company? How is the world a better place because we're here? And that becomes an inspirational part of that vision that we cast to our employees, is where we're going, that vision, right? So, and then there's the activation part. So we have the inspiration piece, and then we have the activation piece. So when you inspire a team, you're adding energy to the system. Like right now, you're energizing people to actually go and do something. And that's where inspiration comes in. But then they need to know, hey, what are we going to do? Great. You've inspired us. We're going to go to the World Cup. We're going to win this World Cup. But how are we going to do that? What's the actual plan of action? And that's where the activation comes in. So leaders' responsibility is to break down this plan of action into a detail that the people that are running that plan know exactly what to do. So not only do I need to have that plan in my head, it's got to be a great strategy. I've got to communicate that to my team in a way that they can get it and that they can run with it. So now we're building in not just the strategy skills, but these communication skills. So now as a leader, you've got to know, well, I know what I'm talking about. How do I get them to know what I'm talking about, right? And people have heard me say this before. I was a school teacher for several years. Teaching is easy. Getting people to learn is hard, right? If I'm not responsible for you learning, I can teach. That's easy. I can teach just about anything, right? But if I'm now responsible for you learning, now it's a whole different ballgame. Now I have to figure out, hey, how do you learn best? How do I communicate in a way that you can receive it and that you can actually do it and you can run with it? And that's where understanding personality types come in, understanding how to communicate comes in, understanding emotional skills comes in, because everybody's emotional, right? So if we get emotionally triggered, that's going to disconnect us from being able to learn from that other person, right? So that even goes back to the inspiration piece. It's hard to inspire people if you're getting emotionally triggered, you're getting angry, you're yelling at people. We talked about how there was a leader who they're doing everything right 99% of the time. 1% of the time, they're rude and condescending. And that ruins the other 99% of the time that they're doing all the right things. So we're going to equip our team with every tool, every strategy, every technique, every bit of training, coaching, mentoring, whatever we need to do to make sure that our team is fully prepared for for success. So in the case of the World Cup, they're fully prepared to take on every team. They know the strategies that every team needs to play against them, where they're strong, where they're weak. They know how to play. They know the techniques of soccer. They've exercised proper techniques. They've done proper recovery techniques. So knowing all those pieces for your team and where you're going is your job as a leader, right? So how do we communicate that with our team? What's the strategy? What's everybody going to do? How do we get the team to run together as a team? Now they've been energized through the inspiration piece. They've been activated by giving them every bit of tools and training and strategy they need. Now they need to be held accountable. Now this is the third part, which is the transformation. And that's where accountability coaching comes in. So having metrics that you're going to run towards, like we're going to do a certain amount of input to get a certain kind of output, right? So understanding what we're going to measure, measuring the right things, prioritizing what we should be doing, that's all the responsibility of the leader. And that becomes that transformational piece. Not getting frustrated at our team for not winning or not performing better, right? So imagine if the coach of the Knicks, when they were down 20 points in game 4, they're down, 29 points in game 4. If the coach was like, you guys all are terrible, you suck, like whatever, like we're they start insulting them, and it breaks that bond between the coach. I wish I could be in that locker room to hear, hey, what was that motivational speech that the coach gave them to turn that game around and go from 29 points in losing to then winning the game in the end. So you need
That's
to
true.
energize your team. You need to give them a good strategy. They need to know exactly what they need to do to be successful. And then you need to hold them accountable for running that plan consistently. And you need to continuously tweak it along the way. So the coaching questions are basically, hey, what did you set out to do? How did it go? How well did you execute on that? If you didn't do well executing it, what got in the way? How do you overcome that hurdle next time? If you executed perfectly, what do we need to do to improve it on the next iteration? It's continuously, iteration after iteration, getting better and better. People often ask me, they'll speak because they know that I'm a public speaker, and they'll ask me, hey Joe, how was my presentation? Like, give me a score. Did I get an A? And I don't do that. Like, I'm not into giving you an A or a B or a C or 100 or 50 or whatever score. All I want to know is, what did you do that was right? And what are you going to do better next time? Right? How are you going to improve it next time? I don't care if you totally flopped as a leader, as a communicator, as a coach, whatever it is. How are you going to improve this next time? How do you overcome the hurdle? As long as you're making continuous progress, you're going to win, right? So that's where the coaching comes in. It's this continuous accountability for continuous growth and improvement. And as long as the people on my team know that I am their partner for success, that's where That's the real power of this accountability coaching. I'm not here to reprimand you. I am your partner in you being successful. That in and of itself is inspiring. That puts the ownership on you, and I'm here to help you run and be successful as you can be. Put those three pieces together, you've got what I call leadership unleashed. Most companies don't have a people problem, as in like everyone, the leaders want to be like, hey, how come they're not doing a good job? How come my team is not working? It's really a leadership problem. I need to look at myself. If I can unclog that leadership bottleneck, if I can raise the lid on my leadership level, I'll open up the ability for my team to perform at a higher level. So hence the terminology leadership unleashed, right? So leadership is holding things down. We unleash that leadership by implementing better mindsets, better strategy, better ways of communicating. And that improved, elevated leadership creates better results. So bottom line is, with Beauchamp Team Growth Solutions, we say better leaders, better results. Bottom line.
Yes, the
It's a lot.
that's great. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Because see, when I was watching the World Cup, I was definitely thinking about. So this is really like the great definition of what we saw and how it should be running, and that also makes me wonder. Just to follow up, how does inspiration differ from motivation?
Thank you to our sponsor, MTL Telephones. That's mtltelephones.com. You want to give them a call at 631-823-7100. MTL Telephones provides voice over IP telephone services, most likely cheaper than the price that you're paying right now, and more options. For example, I use it for my telephone service, and I can answer my call from any device, my laptop, a tablet, my smartphone, or a phone system from anywhere in the world. I can answer it here, or my assistant can answer it halfway across the world. Voicemail messages get transcribed and sent to me as text messages, as well as I can send and receive text messages from that voice over IP. They also have an AI auto assistant, so that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, your phone can be answered by an AI assistant that you have trained. So once again, you want to give them a call, go visit their website at mtltelephones.com or call their number at 631-823-7100. Pick option 5 for sales. Give Mike a call. So thank you so much, MTL, for being our sponsor for this broadcast. That's a great question. So people need to be motivated. So motivation, by definition, means I've got a reason to move. I don't move without a reason. Like literally, you won't even get out of bed unless you had a reason to get out of bed in the morning, right? So people need to be motivated, but motivation can be inspirational or it can be punitive, right? So I can motivate you to move by chasing after you with a dog, right? So if I tell my dog go sick, right, like go attack that person, right, that person's gonna be motivated to run. But once the dog stops chasing them, they're going to stop running. So motivation can be from inspiration, but it can also be from like this fear. So fear-based motivation only works while the dog is still chasing you. It only works while you're watching, while there's still that threat of fear of loss, right? And it's not something to be taken lightly, because the fear of loss is actually twice as motivating as the potential to gain. So I'm much more likely, or I'm equally as likely to do something in order to not lose $50 as I am to gain $100. But if it's gain $100, gain $50 or lose $50, I'm going to be more motivated to not lose the 50 than to gain 50, right? So we know that from studying this out, but it doesn't mean that leaders should threaten fear, right? So a lot of leaders default to that because they have power, they have authority, and they could affect people's salaries and incomes and employment. So they lead by threat, they lead by punishment, and you will get results, right? A lot of leaders have led that way. As a matter of fact, a lot of stuff that has been done in the world through the threat of being terminated, losing your job, losing your pay, getting demoted, right? So you don't want to lead that way because it's not as effective as inspiring people to elevate their identity, to want to be this better version. I think most people go to work wanting to feel like they've done something meaningful that day. So if I'm an inspirational leader, I am unleashing that desire in you for going out and doing a good job. I'm not just inspiring you to do it and motivating you and giving you that energy, that internal emotional energy that makes you want to do it, but I'm also equipping you, right? That activation phase of unblocked blockages that are preventing you. I'm taking out the roadblocks in front of you, right? I've cleared out the hurdles. I've given you the clear strategy. I've prepared you for success. You have a strategy to go to, and I'm going to hold you accountable, because accountability is a tool for success, right? And that accountability, like I said, is a partnership for success, not punishment, right? So motivation can be punishment oriented, but it can also be inspirational. But inspiration, you can't inspire somebody under the threat of punishment. So inspiration lasts when motivation fails. Inspiration is there because I identify as somebody who goes to work and makes a difference in people's lives by doing my job. I run this execution plan that we've designed, and I'm going to be accountable for doing that because I want to do a good job. I want to make a difference. I'm doing that whether you're watching me or not. There's no dog chasing me. I still run. Okay. So I'm a runner. I run. I don't run because somebody's chasing me. I run because I like the healthy benefits of running. I identify as somebody who's healthy and fit, who could run, who could, if I need to go catch somebody or catch a train or catch a bus or chase somebody down who might have stolen something from my family, or if I need that physical ability to run, I identify as somebody who has that physical ability. And to do that, I need to go and exercise and run. I don't do it because somebody's chasing me. I do it because I love to feel fit. I don't know that anybody actually loves the actual run itself. There's definitely certain enjoyable parts of running, but a lot of running is feeling like I'm going to die. Can I get enough oxygen in my lungs? But I'm still motivated. I'm still inspired to run for the good purposes, right? So nobody's punishing me for not running. I just want to run because I like to feel healthy, right? So that's a big difference between inspiration and motivation.
What about listen first leadership? What does it mean?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So listen first leadership is one of the things I talk about a lot. A lot of leaders think, hey, I'm the boss. I do all the talking. But and this goes back to humility. Real leaders, if you want to be an effective leader, you got to listen to your team. Nobody knows what's going on as well as the upfront people who are actually doing the job every single day. If you're an arrogant leader, which I was an arrogant leader for a long time, still something I'm working on, trying not to be arrogant. I hope I'm not arrogant anymore. But I'm open to criticism if that's the case. So leaders who need to do all the talking, they're not listening. And the people, if they're not being heard, they're going to say, all right, well, whatever. Hey, my boss wants me to do it this way. I know it's not going to really work that as well. I've got better ways of doing it, but who cares? I just get paid, right? And now you're going to get a disengaged audience. So Gallup poll did this poll, and they determined that about 2/3 of the population of the workforce is disengaged at work. So 2/3, so 2 out of every 3 people at work, which is kind of crazy how it's more than half the population, are going to work every day, and they're like, you know what? I don't really care what the outcome is. I don't really care what we're doing. I'm not interested. I just want to go to work, leave me alone, pay me my paycheck so I can go home and pay my bills, take care of my family, have my car, go on vacations, have a house, whatever, eat food, right? So they're not there to fulfill some kind of purpose. They're not there to serve their customers. They're not there to make this business something bigger, more effective, more robust. They're there just to get by, be left alone, and get paid. And that's an extremely ineffective way of leading. And part of that is because we're micromanaging people. We're telling them, you have to do it my way, and we're not listening to them, right? So if we open up the opportunity for people to have some autonomy, right? Tell me what you think is the best way to do it. Now you have some autonomy. Now you're like, oh, I can control my own destiny. I determined that this particular system wasn't working right, and I determined a better way to do it. And when I told it to my boss, the next thing we're doing, and within a few days, we've now got a new procedure at work. I've made a difference. Like, our team runs things more efficiently now because of an idea that I came up with. I'm a part owner in this process. So Deming, Ed Deming was one of the people that first proposed this kind of mindset. This was adopted by the Japanese automotive industry, and manufacturing in Japan went from being pretty much a laughing stock for low quality products on earth to being some of the best quality stuff that we have, because they've adopted this method of, hey, you're on the front line, you know what's right, you give us your ideas on how to make this better, and we're going to implement them, right? And so it's listen. So if you're not listening first, you're not going to be a good leader. You're not going to capitalize on those things. So hence, listen first leadership. Listen to your team. Any new leader in any position should go on a listening tour where they just hear their audience. Don't listen to tell, listen to take in, listen to learn from the members of your team. They know a lot. And if you're humble enough, hence why humility is the number one leadership characteristic. If you're humble enough, you'll listen to your team, you'll take in what they have to say, and you'll make those changes and you'll add what they have to say. And if people came up with the idea, they're going to buy into it much more than if you tell them the same idea that they had. If it's coming from me down to them, their buy-in is not going to be as much as if it came from them to me. And I said, let's run with that. That's a great idea. Let's do it.
So I'm actually wondering what you are thinking. It's because during the times of uncertainty, change, crisis, how can leaders inspire people during these difficult times?
Yeah, absolutely. So, welcome to America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry. My name is Joe Beauchamp. I'm one of the founding members here. I'm also the chair of the leadership committee. I'm here to help leaders develop strategies. My company is Beauchamp Team Growth Solutions. We help business owners and business leaders to develop their leadership skills, the leadership skills of their team. We know that better leaders get better results, and we provide that leadership strategy, training, and education for business leaders to run their companies better. Hope you can join us at the America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce. I look forward to seeing you soon.
Difficult times.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we see all these earthquakes, these two major earthquakes that happened in Venezuela, and buildings crashing down. And a great leader in El Salvador, Bukele, I'm trying to remember his last name, but the president of El Salvador really just, transforming his country. So in these situations of crisis or rapid change or turmoil or upheaval like COVID or any kind of thing like that, you need good, solid leadership. I want a leader who has a good plan and who's being emotionally stable. I don't want to see a leader who's flipping out, losing control. I want to see a leader who's got control of his own or her own faculties and emotions and is like, okay, we're going to do this. This is the plan. You go here, you go there, let's do this. And they can execute a plan with confidence, and that plan makes sense, right? Somebody can be, if you're confident about a plan that doesn't make sense, we call that crazy, but that does happen, right? So you need to be confident about a good plan. Like the plan should make sense. People should be like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. But that person gets that plan that makes sense from being calm emotionally, right? And this goes to brain science, like the part of your brain that functions to actually create logical decisions and to think creatively is shut off under stressful situations. So if I'm getting emotionally triggered because of stress, I am strangling the part of my brain that I need to solve those problems. So if I can manage my stress so that I'm not flipping out, and I can have a fully active prefrontal cortex part of my brain, and that part of my brain is there for problem solving. When I worked in corporate, I worked in a major global telecom, and we would have these major failures where thousands of people would lose their phone service at a time. Could be hospitals, could be nursing homes, could be, major businesses, could be anything that they lost telecommunication services. This could be lives at stake. And in the beginning, the first time this happened, I was a nervous wreck and I was emotionally triggered. I was really, upset by this thing. I executed, I did everything. And after that time, I said, you know what? I know exactly what I need to do. And when these situations happen, and they happen pretty frequently, right? So either storms, car accidents, electrical storms, fires, all kinds of catastrophic things happening, which would shut people's phone service off. I knew the plan. I didn't have to be emotionally upset to run the plan. So I was calm and peaceful. I was calm. I was peaceful. I was happy. You didn't hear the stress in my voice. I wasn't flipping out. I didn't look nervous. I could joke with the people around me. I stayed extremely focused on the plan, and I executed the plan step by step, just as well as if I was flipping out, if not better. Probably, I'm sure I was better because my head was functioning properly. And I was able to execute step by step of the plan to make sure that people got their phone service restored as quickly and efficiently as possible. I didn't have to be flipping out because of that, right? And that's one of the things that good leaders need to learn is you don't need to flip out emotionally in order to get the job done. You can get the job done even better by managing your own emotional state. So it doesn't mean, inappropriate joking when, like let's say Venezuela, like the buildings collapse, there's people under there, right? It's not a time to joke, but you don't have to be flipping out emotionally over it. Just maintain your calm composure, maintain your confidence level, keep your emotions in check, and execute a plan to rescue as many survivors. By the way, miracles we're seeing, people being rescued out of the rubble in Venezuela, having been stuck under there for weeks, like over, 10, 11 days stuck under the rubble, and they're being rescued alive. So thank God that people are still being pulled out. Keep up the good work. Those people that if you're down there in Venezuela, if anybody from Venezuela is listening to this podcast right now, keep up the good work. And our thoughts and prayers around the country and around the world are with the people of Venezuela right now.
Absolutely. Well, you mentioned about different leaders and leadership practices. Some of the leaders, sometimes their efforts to create lasting change fail. Why does it happen?
Yeah, so there's two parts to an execution. There's the quality of the idea, and then there's the acceptance of that idea. So a lot of people, and this is where a lot of people get it wrong, especially smart people, smart leaders. The smarter you are, the more likely you are to get this wrong, and because we get caught up in the quality of the idea. This idea is by far the perfect, most efficient, most effective, best quality idea that I can come up with, right? And I just believe that because it's the highest quality idea, I know it's the highest quality because I created it. Everyone else should just see that that's the highest quality idea, and everyone else should be like, wow, this is amazing. Let's run with this idea. And they don't, right? Because people don't buy ideas, people buy people. Say that again. People don't buy your ideas, they buy you as a person. If people want to be like you, they're going to listen to you. So you're the smartest person in the room. You created a brilliant idea. It is, in fact, the best idea. But because you haven't developed relationships with your people, they don't like you. They don't trust you. They don't want to do your idea. So you present this brilliant idea and they're like, I don't really want to do that. I'd rather do this other thing, right? And it gets very frustrating, especially for smart people, because you spent all your time, energy, and effort into the quality of the idea. You didn't spend enough time on the acceptance of that idea. So that acceptance is the people-oriented part. They've done a study on leadership, and they asked, I don't know how many thousands of people to describe their best leaders that they've experienced in their lives. And we find that about 12% of the population, those leaders are described as being task-oriented people. About 12% of the population describe their favorite leaders as being people-oriented people. The other 76% of the population describe their best leaders as having a combination, task orientation and people orientation. I'm good with the task. I'm good with creating an idea that's an excellent strategy, but I'm also good with creating relationships with people so that the people, because I know that people execute those ideas, right? So if you can combine those two pieces together, the good plan and the good team to execute it, and they buy into it because you've developed good relationships with them, now you're going to get good execution. Okay. So the reason why a lot of these plans fail when people try to execute these plans is they haven't done either one piece or the other. They might be really good at people, but they're not good at the strategy. So you just have a terrible plan. Your people love you but you're just not really good at strategy. You're just not good at plans. You didn't execute well. Nobody knows what they're doing. Like I've worked with a leader. She was brilliant. She is brilliant and super creative. And she's a very people-oriented personality type. But everybody knew that any project she does is going to be like a whirlwind. Like it's going to be like this hurricane of nobody knows what's going on. And all of a sudden at the end, everything's going to work out fine. But nobody really wants to be in this situation like that. You kind of want to, like, there's a lot of people who want to know, hey, can you give me A, B, C, D, E, F, G? I want to know the steps in this process. I want to know where we're starting. I want to know where we're going. I want to know how we're going to get there. I want to know the pace. I want to know the time frame. I don't want a whole crazy whirlwind of activity. And at the end, a great thing appears. People don't like that. So certain personality types, they're very people oriented. People like them. They could be very creative, but they don't have that task oriented part of their personality type to help them, create this executable, repeatable strategy, right? The other thing with that is that nobody else can replicate that. Like if she doesn't exist in there to create this whirlwind and create this final product, it's not getting done. Like if she got sick for a day, you're missing the deadline by a day, right? So good leadership combines a task-oriented part and a people-oriented part. Now, most people are either one or the other. I shouldn't say nobody. Very few people are naturally both task-oriented and people-oriented. Most people lean more towards one or the other. So it's everybody's job to develop the part that you're not really good at, right? I come up with brilliant ideas, but now I have to develop relationships because those people have to run those ideas. Or I'm really good with people. I need somebody to come up with some good ideas so that we actually can run a good plan, right? So sometimes it might take a combination of two people. You might have one visionary and one person who can execute on those visions. So anyway, hopefully that answered the question.
Yes, absolutely. How about accountability? When we think about accountability a little bit, why is accountability essential to leadership growth?
Yeah, people are human, and it sounds redundant, right? People are human, right? Humans come with defects, flaws, right? We tend to let things go. Our brain is actually optimized for efficiency, which means that we tend to let things go. We tend to let behaviors, activities, habits, we tend to let them go if they're not super meaningful. And so what happens is people will commit to doing a certain process. Let's say we figured out that in order to make a certain widget, there's 100 steps in the process to make this widget. And some of those are just quality checks that are making sure that the quality of this product is in fact the level of quality that we said it was supposed to be. So I'm on this team that's creating these widgets, and I come in and I accidentally forget a couple of these quality steps, but the product comes out pretty much just the same. Nobody notices it. And so I'm like, you know what? Nobody really noticed that I left out these quality steps. Maybe it's not a good use of my time. I can get more stuff done if I just skip these steps. Why do them in the first place? They seem to be redundant. It never comes up with anything. It's kind of a waste of time. So I might purposely decide to stop doing them, or I might haphazardly forget to do them, right? So in my own life, I remember going through something and I'd taken a course and done training and stuff, and then I'm being specifically vague, but anyway, I stopped doing whatever I was supposed to be doing. And I went back to the person that did the training, and he goes, okay, well, did you do this strategy? And I'm like, oh, I forgot about that strategy. Well, did you do this strategy? No, I forgot about that strategy too. He went through 12 different strategies that I was supposed to be implementing on a day-to-day basis that I forgot about, right? I just let them, it was a couple of years, and one by one, those habits just disappeared for whatever reason. I forgot, and they were just out of sight, out of mind. So that's human nature, right? So I relate this to the second law of thermodynamics. Anybody who knows science or knows the laws of thermodynamics understands that there's the law of entropy. The entire universe is tending towards disorganization, disorder, randomness. Left alone, without inputting energy into a system, that system will tend towards randomness and disorder and chaos. And that's the same way with habits. That's the same way with mindsets. It's the same way with leadership. It's the same way with communication. Same thing with everything, right? You can exercise and you're going to build muscles. You're going to build fitness, right? You're going to be able to run at a certain speed. You're going to be able to lift certain weights. If you stop exercising, you don't maintain what you had, you gradually lose it, okay? If you don't maintain your automobile by changing the oil and putting gasoline in it and doing regular maintenance on the car will eventually fail, right? If you don't maintain a relationship, husband, wife, spouse relationship with children, if you're not actively adding energy into that relationship will fail, right? Things just don't stay where they are. They're tending towards disorder, randomness, chaos, disorder, right? So that's human nature. That's habit. That's the universe. That's how things operate. Accountability is the tool that operates against that drift into this random, chaotic, disorganized state. So accountability is not punitive, like we said before. Accountability is, I am your partner in success, and you giving an account to me for your quality and your productivity. Those are how you maintain your level of quality and productivity, because you're going to be now accountable. I'm going to ask you to make commitments of what you're going to achieve. And I'm going to ask you if you did the commitments you committed to last week or the last time we met, right? So there should be a regular cadence of accountability coaching meetings. Once this becomes a habit, those accountability coaching meetings can literally be 15 minutes. They can be 10 minutes. They might be 5 minutes, right? And I've gotten stuff accomplished with people because the person on the other end of the phone knows exactly what they're doing, and I know exactly what's expected of me. So they ask me, Joe, did you committed to this? Did you do it? I did it 75%. What got in the way of the other 25%? This is what got in the way. This is my plan to correct it. Okay, let me know how it goes next week, right? That's it. That's an accountability conversation. That entire conversation could take less than 5 minutes if both parties know what's expected and how to do it, okay? So it's not, I'm penalizing you. Hey, you only got 75%. You are terrible. That's horrible. We can't exist as a business anymore like that. You do this, it hurts you. It hurts me. Like, I'm not going to sit there and lecture you. I'm not trying to punish you for doing 75%. You're human. You didn't do it. You didn't do what you're committed to, right? You got 75% of it done. Great. 75% is better than anything lower than 75%, but it's not what we planned on. We planned on 100%. How do you get it to 100%? What's the strategy? What are the hurdles you need to overcome? What obstacles got in the way? And how do we overcome those obstacles next time? Now, this is an important thing to understand as well. As a leader, when you have this accountability conversation with your team, so one of your jobs as a leader is to remove the roadblocks from in front of your team. However, an expression I like to use is when the person comes into you with a monkey, you make them go out with their monkey. In other words, if they come in with an issue, don't be like, okay, I'll take care of that. And then the next person on your team comes in, you're like, okay, I'll take care of that too. The next person comes in your team, okay, I'll take it. And it feels like, pretty soon it feels like I've got a room full of monkeys, right? And nobody wants to be in a room full of monkeys, right? You're not trying to organize this. Like, listen, you came in with this monkey, you're going to go out with your monkey. Hey, how do you think you can solve this problem? How can you overcome this barrier? How can you overcome this obstacle? What do you need to do? Okay, this is the person you need to be communicated with. Okay, go ahead and do that. Let me know how that goes next week, right? If I, as a leader, keep taking on more responsibility, my job as a leader is to delegate literally as close to 100% of everything to my team, right? And people ask me, well, then what am I going to do? Trust me, more stuff is coming. Trust me. Okay, if you delegate 100% of all your responsibilities to your team, and I don't mean just offload them, right? Offloading is not delegating. Delegating means I've inspired you, I've prepared you, right? So inspiration, activation, transformation. I've inspired you to do it. Like, you know why you're doing it. You know how to do it. You know the exact process and plan, procedure. You know how to do it good quality. You know how to do the right quantity. You know exactly the time frames it's supposed to be done in, right? You are 100% prepared to do that job successfully, and I'm going to hold you accountable for it. Now I delegate it to you. Now it's your job. You're going to handle that. But I'm going to oversee. I'm going to hold you accountable, but I'm going to go do something else. Okay. I've never had a situation in leadership where I've cleared my plate of responsibilities and I've had nothing to do. Okay. Every time that's happened, every time I've delegated everything, I've prepared my team's running everything smoothly, something else comes down the line, right? But, they add an entire other department to me, right? They merge two different departments together, or they change our systems, or they change something else, or they move something else, or whatever. There's always something that's going to happen, a new opportunity or a new threat or something new in business. Like, stuff is always coming. If you're not continuously clearing your plate of your responsibilities, when that new stuff comes, you're going to be overwhelmed, and you're either going to have to let stuff fall and then you fail, or you're gonna say, I can't take on this new stuff. I'm too busy doing the old stuff, right? And neither one of those is good leadership. So delegate everything, but you got to prepare your team to be offloaded too.
Last month at AVCCI Business Book Club, our co-chairs there, Jim and Steve, they had Bill Miller as one of the published authors, who is also AVCCI member, and they talk about what every CEO must know. And he was talking about different management styles, techniques, and so on. I know we are running out of time for this episode, but maybe in coming episodes we can talk about the CEO, ideal CEO, how, what type of leadership practices a good CEO must have, and maybe we can dive deeper into this conversation in coming episodes.
That'd be great.
There's
really
a informative
book called The CEO Next Door, which I would highly recommend to any CEO or anybody who aspires to move up in leadership. We've studied this stuff out. Leadership is stuff that's been studied for literally thousands of years, and especially in recent years, it's been studied scientifically, where it's been measured, it's been quantified, it's been statistically analyzed. So we understand strategies that just tend to work more effectively than other strategies. So what's required of a good CEO? It's not like there's really no mystery there. There's a lot of things that we can see. Good effective CEOs have certain characteristics. They do certain things. They do it well. And if you read the book, The CEO Next Door, that's a great book on characteristics of a great CEO. And that's great. It's a great topic because it's not just for CEOs, but anybody who aspires to be a leader, entrepreneur, leader, business leader, anything. One of those things is being a self-starter. Take somebody who takes action quickly. You've got a propensity towards action. Those characteristics are good leadership characteristics, right? Somebody who hems and haws and has to think about it, like, oh, I don't know, let me decide later or whatever, right? Versus somebody who's like, okay, let's do it right now, right? Some of my best clients, some of my best clients, I'll train them on something new, and like, I'm going to do that. I have a client coming in 30 minutes. I'm going to apply that to my next client today. And the next time I meet with them, I'm like, yeah, I closed these deals. I did this. Like, it worked, right? Tools only work when you use them. If you don't use the tool, you don't get the results. So people who take action quickly use the tools. They figure it out, and that helps them to get results right away.
Joe, thank you very much for having me.
Yeah,
even the 20th episode. I appreciate it.
Thank you for co-hosting with me. I appreciate you being here, Kevin. So once again, thank you all for listening in to the International Leadership Podcast. Once again, my name is Joe Beauchamp. I am the founder of Beauchamp Team Growth Solutions. We do leadership development training and coaching, as well as mentoring, consulting. We help you strategize your business leadership, as well as develop your leaders with those skills they need to be successful. We have the Leadership Unleashed framework: inspiration, activation, transformation. It's the new book that I'll be coming out with called Leadership Unleashed, as well as the framework for workshops and training and coaching and leadership development inside your company. You just saw post that up on the screen, Live to Lead 2027, which is coming up in just a few more months. It's time to buy your tickets. You can go online to live, the number 2, lead, LEAD, LI for Long Island, live to lead, li.com. And register there. It's going to be a great event. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody next week on the International Leadership Podcast. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you soon. Well, that was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for watching our podcast of the International Leadership Podcast. Once again, my name is Joe Beauchamp, president and founder of Beauchamp Team Growth Solutions. That's beauchampteam.com. If you like this episode, please like it, share it, subscribe to this channel. If you're interested in being a guest or a sponsor of this program, please give me an email at info@beauchampteam.com. I'm more than happy to talk to you about it and discuss options and how it can work something out for everyone to win. Thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing you soon. Bye.